You're listening to LeadAI.dev, new teen safety policies from OpenAI, a developer's guide. OpenAI's new guidelines help developers create safer AI experiences tailored for teens, focusing on age-specific risks. What shipped? LeadAI.dev reports that OpenAI has released new prompt-based teen safety policies specifically designed for developers utilizing the GPT-OS Safeguard framework. This initiative includes a comprehensive set of guidelines and tools aimed at moderating age-specific risks inherent in AI systems. The guidelines come alongside version updates that enhance the functionality and responsiveness of AI applications tailored for younger audiences, ensuring developers can implement safety measures effectively. The new safety policies include detailed prompts that developers can integrate directly into their applications, aimed at filtering inappropriate content and fostering positive interactions. These prompts can be tailored based on the target audience's age group. Additionally, the API endpoints have been updated to include new parameters that allow for real-time content moderation based on these policies, enhancing the robustness of applications aimed at teens. New guidelines for implementing teen safety policies in AI applications. Updated API endpoints to facilitate real-time content moderation. Why this matters. This announcement significantly affects developers and teams focused on creating applications for teenagers, particularly those with budgets under $50,000 annually. Teams processing over 500 API calls daily will find these new guidelines particularly beneficial as they navigate the complexities of content moderation in a youth-oriented context. Prior to this release, developers often struggled with generic content moderation tools that did not account for the nuanced needs of younger audiences, leaving a gap in safety that could lead to harmful interactions. The introduction of tailored safety prompts means developers can now proactively address risks rather than reactively manage issues as they arise. Previously, developers would have to build their own content moderation systems or rely on third-party solutions that may not align with their specific audience's needs. The downside is that developers will need to invest time in understanding and integrating these new guidelines into their existing workflows. Targets teams with budgets under $50,000 annually. Facilitates proactive content moderation tailored for teens. How to take advantage. If you're using the GPS Safeguard framework, here's what to do. Start by reviewing the new safety guidelines published on OpenAI's blog. Within the next week, update your integration to include the new prompt parameters that focus on teen safety. Make sure to test these prompts in a controlled environment to assess their effectiveness before rolling them out in your production applications, ideally within the next 2 weeks. Additionally, ensure your API calls incorporate the new endpoint parameters that enable real-time content filtering. This may require adjustments to your existing code base, particularly if you are using older versions of the API. For seamless migration, refer to the OpenAI documentation for step-by-step instructions on implementing the new parameters. Review new safety guidelines within the next week. Update API calls to include new prompt parameters for teen safety. What to watch. Monitor the performance of the newly implemented safety prompts, as initial feedback may reveal areas for improvement. Be cautious of any limitations in the current guidelines, particularly around edge cases that may not be fully addressed. OpenAI is expected to gather user feedback over the next few months to refine these guidelines further, so stay engaged with community discussions and updates. As the framework evolves, anticipate regular updates to the API to enhance moderation capabilities based on real-world usage. Developers should also keep an eye on the broader rollout of these policies, as they may be expanded to include more nuanced guidelines for specific age groups. Thank you for listening, leadai.dev. Monitor feedback on safety prompts for potential improvements. Stay engaged with community updates for API enhancements. Key takeaways. Implementing OpenAI's new teen safety guidelines can reduce risks for applications targeting younger audiences. Teams processing over 500 API calls daily can enhance content moderation without extensive resource investment. The new prompt-based policies allow for more tailored interactions, improving user experience in teen-centric applications. Market signals. Increased focus on youth safety. The market will see a rise in AI applications designed specifically for teen users, prompting developers to prioritize safety. What to do next? If you're developing for a teen audience and your app has high engagement, adopt the new safety prompts within 30 days to improve user trust. If your content moderation strategies are outdated, implement OpenAI's guidelines this week to stay compliant and safe. If you are on a tight budget and managing fewer than 1,000 API calls daily, prioritize learning the new guidelines before making structural changes. This has been leadai.dev. Stay building.